أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Can you hear me well? Yes, you can. Okay. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, we can. Sorry.
Good. Jazakallah khair. So, inshallah, today we will continue with our contemplating on Quran and contemplating with Quran series with a new description, Quran being a divine favor. So here is the description. Quran is the treasury of the post-eternal favors of the most merciful and the pre-eternal addresses of the most holy, which come from the world of the unseen beyond the veil of this manifest world. So in this lengthy description, so two terms that I would like to highlight and dwell on for today's discussion is Quran being a treasury of like favor of the most merciful and also address of the most holy. So what does this mean and what does this add, like such a description add to Quran is going to be inshallah today's study. And to think about this, like seeing Quran as a favor of the merciful and address of Subhan, so most holy. What comes to my mind is when somebody important, let's say your advisor, your teacher, or a sheikh, like someone that is very important, much more important than you yourself are, is pausing and saying that, hey, come here, and then starting a conversation with you, a special private conversation with you. That would be a very important moment because just people to get a single signature from famous people like celebrities, they get into long lines and wait for hours just to get like a selfie together with the person and whatnot. And if they receive a signature or their T-shirt or a baseball or whatever that a celebrity gives them, it becomes so important for them. Maybe we can ask the question, why is this so? And then can Quran be considered as such, and in what sense? And what would such a perspective add to Quran in my perception? So these are the type of thoughts that I have to analyze this description here. Would you like to add anything in terms of, even before we get into why Quran could be considered as such a favor? But why do we give value to a celebrity like receiving a signature from a celebrity, for example? Why do we care about this so much? Let's say this is very maybe not of a good example because it's a nonsense act, but what if some wise person inviting you to their office or like sparing some time only dedicated to you one-on-one, and you're paying attention to this conversation, why would you consider this as a favor? If anybody wants to put a few words, I guess it might be even self-evident. This is why you don't want to talk. I would understand that too. It looks like it's self-evident since nobody's volunteering. So it looks like I do see myself as not worthy of such a conversation or such a dedicated time. But the other person getting out of their way and saying that, paying attention and then sparing me their wisdom and time and whatnot. Now, if I take revelation as a favor of the most merciful, and he is an address of Subhan, so he is not in need of anything, so he is so glorious, he is Subhan, free from any defect, yet he is reaching out to me individually, out of mercy. I think this is framing Quran in a uh, very interesting way, in the sense that, so let me first share I don't know if probably I mentioned this before, but what happens with students if I take them to, let's say, in my office, even if it is after catching them for cheating, talk to them one-on-one, and then I ask them, why did you do this? What's going on? And then we have a, as they say, heart-to-heart conversation with them. And I did see that students are starting to pay a different attention to class, unless they are outrageous cheaters. But those who can appreciate the mercy in there is starting to have a different take in the class itself. Because previously, they used to take the teacher as the person, like very distant person out there, who is just doing his job, maybe a very flat person, and doing things for money or whatever. But once they do see this mercy element in there, this person is approaching to me, dedicating his time, and then getting into my level, in a sense, having a conversation on my terms, not on his terms. This is igniting a more warm relationship for the student towards the class itself. So let's see if the same applies to the revelation, or how it applies to revelation. Here's an example from Surah Taha, and this is part taken from Musa alayhi salam's story. So I will start from verse number 11, but up to verse number 11, he is traveling in the desert with his family. So it should be some sort of a darker time of the day, because he sees a fire from far and says, I should go there, and maybe I'll get something like a fire, a piece of fire. Because if we go with the flow of the story itself, it looks like getting warmed is one thing. Or else one can also think that since there's fire, there must be some people in there from which I can receive some benefit. So when he gets near this bush with fire, this is where now the verses I picked up from here is starting. فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا نُودِيَ يَا مُوسَى. And when he reached it, he was called, O Moses. إِنِّي أَنَا رَبُّكَ فَاخْلَعْ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. Indeed, I am your Lord. So take off your shoes, for indeed you are in the holy valley of Tuwa. وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. And I have chosen you, so listen unto that which is revealed or inspired. إِنَّنِي أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا فَاعْبُدْنِي وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. Indeed, I am Allah, there is no God save me, so be an abd to me, serve me, and establish worship for my remembrance. إن الساعة آتية أكاد أخفيها لتجزى كل نفس بما تسعى فلا يسدنك عنها من لا يؤمن بها واتبع هواه فترضى. Indeed, the hour is surely coming, but I will to keep it hidden, that every soul may be rewarded for that which it strives. Therefore, let not him turn you aside from it who believes not therein, but follows his own desires, lest you perish. So this is a very interesting conversation if I were to think about myself here. Like imagine you are in this condition of this story. Let's go with the story initially. You are in the middle of desert and like it's dark, it's cold, and you are in need of some sort of guidance and warmth. You are coming to a bush, and then you are being called by name. I guess literally, if this were to happen, definitely I will freak out. But like just being called by name, like am I being called by jinns or whatever? But then the conversation goes by inni ana rabbuka fakhla'an alayk. Indeed, I am your Lord. So my creator is speaking to me by name, like in the first person name. This level of intimacy is there. And then says, so take off your shoes, for indeed you are in the holy valley of Tua. So in this regard, of course, eventually we will talk about taking this to ourselves, because this was a favor of the creator to Musa alayhi salam, speaking to him individually. But the conversation in here is interesting, so I would like to talk about this taking of shoes since you are in the holy valley of Tua. So what does this mean? Because even today, when you go to like Arafah, the Mount Arafah, so it's a holy place, but you don't take off your shoes. So like what does this signify? Taking off your shoes when you are in this holy valley of Tua. What should this signify? Why does the Creator say this to Musa alayhi salam? Since I don't see anybody's faces or anybody's hands, I will keep talking until you interrupt me. So feel free to interrupt. I'm not willing to pause in between to avoid awkward silence. So this definitely is a guidance for me. These verses are a guidance for me, and my creator is highlighting what as the conversation starts. Indeed, I am your Lord, so take off your shoes. For indeed you are in the holy valley of Tua. So right now I'm not in this valley, but the conversation is like, is it the land that is holy, or is it the conversation that makes the place holy? I think we tend to have such issues with places, for instance, or this place is a holy place. Like, is the place itself holy, or its relation or its affiliation with the creator makes it holy? As another example, let's say taking wudu or things that violate wudu. Like, is the thing itself dirty? Is the act itself dirty? Or the way the act is affiliated, or the creator says that it is dirty, hence it becomes dirty. This goes for all halals and harams. Like, is, for example, pork a dirty animal, or a like najas, like a violated bad animal in and of itself? Or it is another mubarak animal, yet the creator says, no, this is not good for you. I do not let you to eat it, hence it is considered bad. Or inherently, by its nature, it's a bad animal. So I guess with those examples, it's clear. Same goes with dog versus cat, for instance. It's not about the animal itself, but the creator is putting some labels in there for our distinction. So in regards to their reference, relation to the creator, we start talking about things being good or bad. And in this case, Wadi al-Muqaddas. So what makes this valley holy or pure is its relation to the creator. So what should this mean to me now? this was the place that Musa alayhi salam received the revelation. Hence, the creator is saying that as if now I'm going to apply it to my analogy with students in office hours. Student comes to my office hours, and so now I'm saying that to highlight to students that look, I am dedicating my 5, 10, 15, whatever minutes for you, only for you, and I'm not going to give you a boilerplate general answers. Really, I'm talking to you in person right now. So be aware, now you are in my personal office hour, and I am here only for you. So take off your shoes. Take off your shoes in this sense, meaning today, I guess I would say, put your phone aside. Like, come to your senses. And here is a pure environment now only for you. So focus yourself in here. And I guess in this case, why shoes was shoes like phones back then or whatever, but more so that you are now in a pure area, because shoe is a thing that you would use for protecting yourself from the dirt or the harms out there. By saying that you are safe from those outwardly harms being highlighted, saying that take off your shoes. So likewise, if student comes here, I would say lower your guard. You are in a safe space, and we are going to talk one-on-one about your success and failure in this class, and it's going to be a hand-tailored recipe for yourself. So open yourself to this conversation. Now, let's apply to Quran, me and Quran. Still, when I hear Quran as such, my creator is not speaking to me in the bush. My creator is speaking to me in the Quran. He says, indeed, I am your Lord. So put your phone aside, especially now that we are in the month of Quran, put your eating aside, put all the other stuff that you would normally do, put them aside, for indeed you are in the holy month of Ramadan. Let's read it as such. So, but the conversation, I guess the part that I would like to highlight here is two things. One, this just the bare fact that my creator talks to me is a favor, but this talking to me is an individual conversation. This is why it's an individual favor. And then the conversation goes on here. وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى, and I have chosen you, so listen unto that which is inspired. So again, I'm trying to hear this as my creator speaks this to me. إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري. Indeed, I am Allah. There is no God save me. So serve me and establish worship for my remembrance. So, although out of the scope for today's specific topic, but the emphasis in here is like very extreme. Innani ana Allahu la ilaha illa ana. So the creator's triple emphasis about indeed I am Allah. There is no God save me. So this was just a very important reminder for myself. My creator is as if shaking me by holding my shoulders and saying that in the previous part it was inni ana rabbuk, and now it is innani ana Allah. In the first one, reminding the relationship of the speaker, the creator, to me as my Rabb. And now in the second one, this personal rububiyyah relationship, this the one who is taking care of me, my Lord. In the second part is now saying that I am your Lord, but at the same time, I am the Lord of everything. By putting now the proper name Allah in there and La ilaha illa ana, so saying that I am the Lord and the creator and the sustainer of everything. Therefore, fa'budni, so serve me or do your ubudiyyah or abdness towards me. Okay. If any comments, please chime in. So I'm getting to the next set of verses. Now the conversation gets into an interesting twist here. My creator, and in the story, Musa alayhi salam's Lord asks him, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا Musa? And what is that in your right hand, O Moses? قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى. He said, this is my staff, whereon I lean, and wherewith I beat down branches for my sheep, and wherein I find other uses. Like, this is again a very beautiful example of divine speech being an eternal favor of the most merciful. So student comes to office hours, and then I ask, oh, what do you do? How is your day is going? And then he says, oh yeah, I sometimes watch YouTube videos, and then I occasionally follow, I don't know, like those 5 minute course crash videos about how to do programming and this and that. Like this sort of a casual conversation, casual response. And Musa alayhi salam's response for use of staff is how he uses it. I lean on it. I beat down branches for my sheep, so it is source of my sustenance. Like I lean on it means it is a thing that keeps me upright. The second one is I beat down branches for my sheep. So I am using it as a tool, as a means to bring sustenance for my sheep. And I have other uses for it. So it's a good tool. Or if you are to use a technical term that you are familiar with from our discussions, it's a good cause, an intermediary for achieving other results, our ends. قال ألقيها يا موسى. He said, cast it down, like put it down, throw it away, O Moses. فألقاها فإذا هي حية تسعى. So he cast it down, and it was a serpent gliding. So when he throws it, it just becomes like a snake, like a حية in here. The word is similar to the word حياة, like life. So it is serpent, a snake, but it is due to its very rapid motion, very lively. So here حية تسعى, and then it gliding. قال خذها ولا تخف سنعيدها صراطها الأولى. He said, grasp it and fear not. We shall return it to its former state. So this is a very interesting conversation happening here. It used to be a staff, and Musa thinks that it's a means of sustenance and support for him in literal sense and in financial sense, like figurative financial sense of the word. But then the creator says, okay, put it down. And then he sees that it becomes like a snake. What shall we take out of this, folks? Okay, I think I now need to hear your voice. What is, if your creator to talk to you as such, what would you take out of this conversation? Your merciful creator is making a favor and talking to you as such, asking you about that which you hold in your hand. Maybe you're a biologist, maybe you're a computer scientist, whatever you are. And then you give a response as Musa alayhi salam gives. Then if it becomes a snake, what does it mean that you are being said to put it down, and then it becomes a snake, and then you are being taking it away in its previous or former state? No comments?
Maybe when you pick up the staff, you understand that object as having certain characteristics and crediting it with certain capabilities, maybe inherent of itself. I understand this to be as it is because it is, you know, maybe innate to that object. I have assigned it certain qualities, certain power, but um, in the moment that you cast it down, you're also casting. Allah is asking you to cast down whatever understanding you had previously of um, this power or quality that you believe to be attributed to that object. Um, and you're realizing that, it is really whatever Allah has created within it and whatever Allah has reflected um, within that object. So those qualities are merely a reflection of whatever Allah has created within it. Um, and so casting it down is also casting down whatever to to uh, you believe that object to have owned within itself.
Very beautiful. Brother Birkan.
Jazakallah khairan. So we could also maybe take this as like going back to the definition you gave, how things become the speech of the creator. So in this ayah, it's like as if a speech within a speech, saying that like the Quran is reaching us as his favor, as his intimate, let's say, the address to us. And within this speech, it's showing us that things that we take as constant, like the objects, they are actually the living, ever-changing things themselves. So it becomes a lively thing, right? People would translate it as snake, but it's like a living thing, moving thing, right? So the creation itself, the things as we take as objects themselves also becomes a living speech to us as well. It shows the Quran show us how to read them, how to understand them, how to interact with them, and so on.
So then, just to reiterate what you both said, then these are things which I consider or take them on the face value. It could be like, since Musa alayhi salam was a shepherd in this case, but I am a computer science person. So this is my staff, and this is what I lean on. This is the thing with which I grow branches for my sheep, and I have other uses for it in my life. And then when my creator says, put it down, so you thought it's a very static, very dry, very disconnected thing, but seeing it as hayatun, like full of life and gliding, as if the creator is saying that I am acting in there, and seeing it as now brother Birkan was highlighting, seeing the thing itself as a live message, as a live conversation with my creator. And then my creator says, now you can take it back. I'm going to give it its previous form, siratah al-ula, but now you know its real meaning. It has a form, it's a prior form, but it has a truth underneath it, which looks to its creator. So engage with it as such. And this was at his hand. But is it the same staff now when he takes it back to his hand? And is it the same hand? Like, we can ask the question. After verse 18, so he has a hand, he has a right hand. He has a right hand in which he has a staff. After verse 21, is it the same hand? Is it the same staff? Apparently, the appearance of the staff is the same, but it's not the same staff as Musa alayhi salam is holding it. He now knows that, oh, that staff is way more than what I thought. I thought I was leaning on it. I thought it was keeping me upright. But now I see that my creator is keeping me upright. I thought this staff was feeding me and my sheep, but now I see my creator is feeding me and my sheep, and we can apply it to our own staffs in this life. And actually, it continues with the hand as well. Is it the same hand? وَاضْمُمْ يَدَكَ إِلَى جَنَاحِكَ تَخْرُجْ بَيْضَاءَ مِنْ غَيْرِ سُوءٍ آيَةً أُخْرَى. And thrust your hand within your armpits, it will come forth white without hurt as another sign. لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. That we may show you some of our greater signs. So the hand is also changing. Now the hand is, what does it mean? What do you think? Now the hand becoming a hand with white. Hand coming out white. Because now this is the transformation that's happening in here is, what's the difference before and after? After this event, Musa alayhi salam is now becoming the messenger, because this is the time that he received revelation. And actually in here, we are seeing how Creator is educating Musa alayhi salam, in my analogy, in office hours, one-on-one. And there's going to be a huge transformation happening in Musa alayhi salam as well. Before here, Musa alayhi salam's hand was a regular person's hand. After here, it's going to become a prophetic hand. But what does this mean, a prophetic hand? So it's a, like for instance, let's again keep going with analogies a little bit. Let's say I know very little, almost nothing about writing Arabic. My handwriting is especially ugly, even more so when it comes to writing Arabic. But then if there is a master calligrapher, and then you see a text coming out of a master calligrapher hands, then you see the art in his hand. Another example, cooking in the kitchen. So you see the food coming and you say, oh, this is coming from such and such master chef's hand. It's clear that his hand touched the food. So now what does it mean that Prophet's hand is going to touch something? Let's say you are going to the Prophet and talking about some calamity that fall on you. For you, it's it's the end of the world. You say, oh, this happened, that happened, and like I am doomed. What's going on? When Prophet touches the same calamity, that calamity is going to become enlightened or white without any su, without any dirt, any evil in it. This is how the prophetic hand is. And this is what's happening in here. Musa alayhi salam is given this miracle of Yad Ibayda, so white hand. That white hand is, as we can now understand for ourselves, when Prophet touches something and or prophetic tradition touches the events which otherwise I would consider ugly or harmful, then I will start seeing the shining and beautiful and clean aspect of things. And this bunch of verses in here is actually representing this. After the snake was taken with this staff, with the hand, so staff was cast down and it turned into this lively moving object. And then when the hand grabbed it, and it is this white hand now, it is becoming this harmless object again, a useful object, but with a different aspect of it being useful. Now the one who holds the staff knows that it is the creator's sign. It's not a simple piece of stick anymore. It's a creator's sign. A simple stick becomes a creator's sign. And eventually we will see that this staff is going to show two more miracles. One of them is going to be, this is going to hit the rock with this staff. Again, the same piece of rock, wood hitting a very solid rock. And then 12 pieces of water will gush forth from there. Yes, Brother Birkan, you're trying to make art, or is it Bushra? So, okay.
I don't even know what she did. Sorry, Huda stole my phone and start doing something on the screen. I will try to correct, but I don't know what she did.
Okay.
Sorry.
If that's Huda, then it's okay. It's beautiful. It's coming from the hand of a artist, future artist. So, yes. When prophetic hand holds the staff and hits the rock, 12 waters gush forth, and every people would know from which to drink. Like this is another verse talking about Musa alayhi salam's miracle, for instance. Imam Nursi interprets this in a very beautiful way. He says, prophetic tradition is such that in order to bring water, it doesn't need to like dig tunnels under mountains to bring water from behind the mountains. It just hits wherever it is. It hits, like wherever the prophet is, he simply hits the staff to the ground and brings out water from there. And what does this mean? Whatever prophet touches, prophet shows how it points to the creator right there. And he doesn't extract one type of water from there. He extracts 12 types of water from there. Like in the story of Musa alayhi salam, this refers to the 12 tribes of Jews. But there are different types of people, and everybody has a different door, if you like, you enter the people's worlds from different doors. So you bring different types of evidences to different people. This is what prophetic tradition does. It's not one type of evidence. It's not one type of message. The message is according to different personalities of people from the very same thing. Let's say taking a flower or taking an earthquake or taking a newborn child. Prophetic tradition is going to touch on this and extract messages, multiple messages that's going to address everybody. This is how the prophetic, at the prophet's hand, this is how a staff turns into this sign. Another case with the same staff is Musa alayhi salam hitting the staff to the sea, and then the sea splitting into two, and then opening up a path for his people. Again, this is something that would otherwise drown them, but at the hands of the prophet, it becomes a passage for them, and then becomes a drowning object for those who are trying to kill them. So we can see this as death, for example. Death is such a thing that is before everybody's path, and you get drowned in there. You get into non-existence. But when prophet comes and hits the death itself, it becomes a passage to eternal life. But then it becomes a drowning entity, an entity to drown, who is chasing the messenger to kill them, as happened with Pharaoh and his people. So in this sense, the last parts of these set of verses saying that put your hand in, and then when you take it out, it's going to be white. So This conversation is transforming Musa alayhi salam from a regular person to become the messenger. And now wrapping up what we discussed so far, this was an eternal favor coming from the most merciful, speaking to a most recipient of people, like a person like Musa alayhi salam, mercifully waking him up, if you like, from considering this staff as a source of support to becoming a sign of his creator. And then, inshallah, we will conclude by considering how does this apply to me? How does divine message apply to me as a divine favor? Brother Birkat.
Jazakallah khairan. I was about to talk about what you just mentioned. So it would be a good, I guess, transition. So when we take Quran, as you mentioned here, as Imam Nursi puts in, so what happens then? Like your student comes to your office, your student comes to your office, and then you talk about like a gentleman with short hair, or let's say with less than short hair, and you start talking about like asking him how he combs his hair, how she, I don't know, wash it so that it becomes such a, the bright and beautiful curly hair, which doesn't fit to his reality, right? He would think that you are talking to someone else. Like, well, what are you talking about? It doesn't make sense, he would say. So in the same way, if we say the Quran is the divine speech addressed to me specifically, then it should fit to my reality with every details. Right? This is a high expectation. So we should check then, we should read Quran in the light of my life. Because it's talking to me, not someone, with long hair, but someone like myself with less than short hairs, right? And he does not tell me about long hairs. So when I read something in Quran, then at first it sounds like it's not talking about me, obviously, right? It's talking about some terrible people, let's say the Beni Israel. But then, like we're saying that, but it is a speech to you. How would you take it? Then your perception of reading all these ayahs will change. You would say, okay, no, it is addressed to me, specifically to me, and not only an address. Your definition said it's a merciful, a favorful address. Right? Whatever it tells me, even it sounds like it's a threat, it sounds like a complaint. How dare you do, Birkan? I understand that it is a favor. It's a merciful speech.
So then, to wrap up, as Musa alayhi salam received a favor from his creator in this, and Quran is being mentioned as a rahmah upon us from our creator. There are multiple verses as such. Prophet ﷺ is being, for example, mentioned as a rahmah sent upon us. Like, these are all the favors that my creator does to me. Taking it personal of a favor and my creator speaking to me individually is a eternal favor. So then, as Musa alayhi salam was instructed here to do, I need to get serious, take off my shoes, in the sense that realize that I am in a pure territory now. So get into this mood. And that's why in Ramadan, we were removing all these, if you like, metaphorically speaking, shoes to get in touch with, interact with the divine favor, divine message of my Creator. That is how Quran is becoming a divine favor, and as to the extent that I consider it as such, then my benefit from Quran is going to change way more. On top of this, we can now extend Quran being a divine favor to every event in my life is also a divine favor as such. Like every event, because no two person is living the same life. Does this mean that every person is living a random life? Or every person is living a life in which the path is being hand carved and prepared for me individually? In this life, those who I like, who I hate, who I am getting entertained with, who I am bothered by, like all these individual details. Today I was listening to a lecture partially. They were mentioning how Quran talks about how God puts love in our hearts. So like love is being put in my heart. It doesn't like love is just emerging in my heart, as Quran is beautifully choosing the words in there. Your love towards someone is being put in your heart. So it is, in a sense, a divine favor individually done to your heart. Or another example, both Quran mentions this for two battles. Quran mentions this for battles, and it happened both at the beginning of Badr and Uhud, that as a mercy, the Creator gave them nu'as, like a light sleep, to the believers, so that the fear is going to be taken away from them. So this is like an individual creation that's happening on those people to lift their fear, for example. Now in my life, I need to focus and see actually every individual event is such a one-on-one creation of my Creator to me. It's a divine favor of the merciful one. It might happen that there is a, let's say, quote unquote, global calamity. An earthquake happens. But you do see that people are approaching the same event in different ways. How come? Because everybody's feelings in their hearts are being created individually. Their Creator talks to them in different way because it's a divine, like even the earthquake in this case is really becoming an eternal favor, a divine favor of the most merciful. How you are going to engage with this apparently ugly event, but it's not ugly because it's an individual communication of my Creator to me. So this last part is really can happen to the extent that I see Quran as a divine favor, individual divine favor, as a conversation to me. Since Quran is an individual conversation, so is my life. The events in life are also individual divine favors that my Creator is speaking to me, if you like, through a sign language, which is the life itself, the events of life itself. So may Allah make us realize or be cognizant of this live conversation, this merciful conversation between Him and ourselves. And may Allah make us treat those life events, see them as merciful conversations, merciful favors being done by Him, and live in this peaceful moments, live our lives in Wadi al-Muqaddasi Tuwa, like live in this most pure valley of Tuwa throughout our lives. So with that, I would like to conclude. This is what I have for today. Any concluding remarks, comments, questions? Not, may Allah give barakah to the remaining part of Ramadan. اللهم اجعل ليلة قدرنا في هذا رمضان خيرا من ألف شهر لنا آمين وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة